Hello, everybody. So now we're going to be discussing the Warlock cards from the Knights of the Frozen Throne expansion. Warlock has been in a pretty bad state for quite a while, and thankfully it's got some good cards. So will these cards bring Warlock to actually see play in Standard? We'll have to wait and see, but let's see what we've got to play with. Start with the Death Knight. It's 10 mana, so very expensive. Battlecry, summon all friendly demons that died this game and gain 5 armor. And your hero power becomes deal 3 damage with lifesteal. So you can, for 2 mana, you do 3 damage to something and you restore 3 health as well. And I think the Warlock hero power is actually the best hero power. The Warlock Death Knight hero power is definitely the best hero power of all the Death Knights. Especially for Warlock, which has such a lack of healing. Like, healing is mainly, like, Warlock's main weakness, really. Warlock has lots of good AoE, but you just die. So having lifesteal in Warlock is really great. It's really great. The initial effect of the Death Knight, though, is not as impactful. It's summon all friendly demons that died this game, which can obviously fill your board with a load of demons. However, the demons aren't that strong. You could be playing Doomguard and Lakari Fellhound, which are very strong demons, but are you going to be playing this in a discard Warlock deck? It's going to have to be a pretty slow discard Warlock deck for you to actually want to play this. So if you're playing like discard Warlock, you're probably going to play Cruel Dynamancer, the 6 mana 5/5 that has a death rattle summon a minion that you discarded this game. But that, I'm not sure if I can see that working, to be honest. More likely, I think this is going to be used with just some kind of control demon. Or I'll try to, I mean, I'll try this with both. I'm going to try with discard and just demons. But we do have one good demon that's very good to get back. A new card, Despicable Dreadlord, 5 mana 4/5 demon. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. This is a really good card. Yeah, I mean, not much more to say about it, really. It's at the end of your turn as well, so your opponent's going to have to kill it, or you're going to get 1 damage to all their minions at the end of your turn next turn as well. So it's a threat. It's good against token decks, and it's a good card. It's a very nice card. Plus it's a demon, so you can get it from things like Bane of Doom. You can bring it back from Blood Reaver Gul'dan, so you could Blood Reaver Gul'dan, and then bring back 2 Despicable Dreadlords, and so you can effectively your Warlock Death Knight can bring back a 2 damage AoE to damage your opponent's board if you bring back 2 Despicable Dreadlords, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but this is one of the better Death Knight cards. It's just, how can you make a deck with a lot of demons? Like, the demons aren't that good. The demons aren't that good. That is the issue. But the hero power is so good that I've definitely got to try and make this work. Okay. Gnome Feratu. 2 mana 2/3, Battlecry, remove the top card of your opponent's deck. So, this is a very crazy card. You can kind of think of it as, oh, it's just a 2 mana 2/3, but the card they discarded kind of may as well have been on the bottom of their deck. Like, imagine it was just on the bottom of their deck. They weren't going to draw it anyway. Like, games never go to fatigue anyway. So it's basically just a 2 mana 2/3. However, this card does have pretty swingy upsides. There's certain cards you can remove from the top of your opponent's deck that can be extremely impactful. For example, removing Alexstrasza, etc. Removing Pyroblast. I'm mainly talking about burn cards because burn is Warlock's main weakness. Due to their lack of healing, Warlock is very vulnerable to Mage and Freeze Mage and that type of thing. It also gives you information. So you see what you've discarded, and you think, oh, he doesn't have 2 of that card. I don't need to play around that card anymore. So the information it gives you is actually really nice. Another thing that could make this card potentially good is that Warlock doesn't have any good 2 mana minions right now. Warlock's 2 mana slot is not very good. And so this might be a card you literally just play in like slower Warlock decks to have something good to do turn 2. I mean, in control Warlock decks, you might just play like Doomsayers, Corrupting Mist and stuff. A couple of other new 2-mana cards we're going to talk about as well. But, yeah. I can't... Are you ever going to play this in an aggro deck? Like, if you manage to remove an AoE, that's obviously insane. But it's so random, like, it's so random what you're actually going to remove with this card. This card is pretty crazy. This card is pretty crazy, man. I don't even know, like, what are you going to play? The thing about this card is what are you going to play this in? That is my... Like, is it even good enough to just play in the majority of Warlock decks? It might be, man. It might be. Anyway. Spoke about this Liquid Dreadlord. Unwilling Sacrifice. 3-mana spell. Choose a friendly minion, destroy it, and a random enemy minion. So, this is specifically good on... Well... If you have something like a Devil Soreg, where you're very happy killing your own minion, and then you get, it's kind of like a 2 eggs, 1 basket. Is that the word? 2 eggs, 1 basket? 2 birds, 1 stone? 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah, that's the one. So you're popping your Devil Soreg and killing an enemy minion. It is random enemy minion, so it's not going to be good against a board full of stuff. But Warlock has a lot of good AoE, so you're probably not going to be worried about that too much anyway. You do have to use this on a minion. You can't just use this as 3-mana destroying a random enemy minion. So you're going to have something. Maybe you're playing Possessed Villagers, maybe Devil Soregs, maybe Runic Eggs, maybe just anything cheap you can. But obviously this 3-mana destroy a random minion is a good effect, so... It does kind of feel like it's going to be hard to consistently have a minion you want to use this on, though. Like, if you're playing Devil Soregs, what else are you going to be playing in your deck? You're going to be playing, like, a whole... You could play a Death Rattle Warlock. If you're playing a Death Rattle Warlock, this would be a great card in that style of deck, for sure. But other than that, it's kind of a lot of the time going to be hard to find a minion you actually can use this on of your own. Sanguinary Reveler. 1-mana 1/1, Battle Cry, destroy a friendly minion and gain +2/+2. So this is another card that you would probably play in a similar deck to Unwilling Sacrifice, where you're very happy to destroy your own minions. So yeah, Devil Soreg. Is it Faceless Summoner? Twilight Summoner? Twilight Summoner, the 4-mana 1/1 that summons a 5/5. Yeah, that type of thing. Basically Death Rattle minions. Like, both these cards are very nice with a lot of Death Rattle minions. Maybe even, like, maybe even the 1/1 Elemental for 2 mana that has a 3 damage Death Rattle. Unstable Elemental? Is that what it's called? I think it's called Unstable Elemental. Like, maybe even that kind of thing. But yeah, these 2 cards are really cool and pretty good, but they're very specific. Like, you have to actually have something you want to use it on is the issue. So you are going to need to be playing lots of Death Rattles and that type of thing. But they are good in that style of thing, for sure. Okay, next card. 2-mana spell, Drain Soul. Deal 2 damage to a minion, Lifesteal. So dealing 2 damage is obviously not as good as dealing 3 damage, something like Dark Bomb. But Lifesteal is actually really huge. Heal is something that Warlock has struggled with forever. So having something a control tool that removes something and heals you at the same time is actually really good. So I think this card is very good for a control style of Warlock deck. Yeah, it might even be that you end up playing some kind of spell damage and stuff in Warlock, and then you can deal 3 damage and you restore 3 health. So obviously, like, the more damage you do, the more health you're healing as well. So this is a good card for a control Warlock deck. Howl Fiend, 3-mana 3/6 demon. Whenever this minion takes damage, discard a random card. So this is pretty crazy because you could literally just end up discarding your whole hand with this. Obviously, 3-mana 3/6 is good stats. It kind of feels like the same as all the other discard minions though, where if you've got big stuff in your hand like Doomguard, you don't really want to play this. But if you've got Silverware Golems in your hand, or Malchezaar's imp on the board, and like good discard synergy going on, then this can be useful. This can be good. Like, definitely. Like, I would probably play this in an aggro discard lock deck. It is very swingy, though. Sometimes you can just discard a load of stuff you don't want to discard. That is the issue. I mean, there's actually some cool thing you can do with this card, with one of the new cards, Treachery. So Treachery is a 3-mana spell. Choose a friendly minion and give it to your opponent. So this with Doomsayer is insane. You play Doomsayer, use Treachery on your Doomsayer, and they have the Doomsayer at the start of their turn, and so it clears their board. So it's basically a 5-mana board clear, this with Doomsayer. You can also use it with the Hellfiend. You could maybe even discard your opponent's entire hand. You play your Hellfiend, you use your Treachery to give them your Hellfiend, and then you play a card like maybe Spreading Madness, and all the Spreading Madness missiles hit the Hellfiend, and your opponent discards all their hand. And that is actually a crazy synergy. Like, it's so crazy good. It is very quirky, but it is potentially so good. Like, maybe even like discarding your opponent's whole hand. They could be building some combo together, and you can literally just discard their hand. So this combo could be so good that it's actually worth doing just for that. Yeah. Defile. 2-mana spell. Deal 1 damage to all minions. If any die, cast this again. This is one of the best cards from the release. Very good board clear for Warlock. So it's going to require some kind of setting up as well. So you're going to want to have like a minion with 1 health, then 2, then 3, then 4. So it's like consistently killing everything a lot of the time. So yeah, this is a really good spell. And something that could definitely help a control Warlock archetype maybe be a thing. Maybe be a thing. This card is fantastically strong. It also works with spell damage. So if you have a spell damage minion on the board, like the new 2-mana 1/1 Divine Shield, it'll do 2 damage to everything. And then if it kills something, it'll do 2 damage to everything again. It will definitely kill the 1/1, so it does 2 damage to everything again. So it's actually insane with the 2-mana 1/1. So maybe you are playing the 2-mana 1/1 in a control Warlock deck with cards like Drain Soul, cards like Defile. You probably play Mortal Coils in that deck as well. And yeah, like I have high hopes for a control Warlock deck, man. I have high hopes for a control Warlock. The final card is the Warlock Legendary, a 5-mana 1/6 Blood Queen Lanafel. It has +1 attack for each card you've discarded this game, and it has lifesteal. So, like I said earlier, like healing is more significant in Warlock than it is in other classes because of Warlock's lack of heal and the amount of cards that damage themselves, like Life Tap and Hellfire and that kind of thing. So lifesteal is insane. This card is actually like has huge potential for Warlock, but the problem is you're going to be playing it in a discard Warlock, so you have a very high chance of actually just discarding this. Yeah, and then you don't get any lifesteal at all. Also, it's more of a slower card, so you're more likely to want to be playing this in a slower discard Warlock than a more aggressive discard Warlock. Like, this is another good one with Cruel Dynamancer, because if you end up discarding this, you could maybe bring this back from Cruel Dynamancer, which is pretty cool. So the card on its own is good, but it's just everything around it feels a bit dodgy, because generally discard cards feel like they're more designed for an aggro deck. Like things like Doomguard, Soulfire, all these really aggressive, like overstated things. Very aggressive. And this is more of a defensive card. So if we were to see some kind of maybe... Like if you were playing Quest Warlock, you would without a doubt play this card. Not that Quest Warlock is very good though. But yeah, I like this card a lot. Could maybe help Quest Warlock a little bit out. Maybe Cruel Dynamancer is really nice with this. So yeah, I think this card is good, but I don't think it quite has the tools with it to quite be good enough. But it is so good that who knows. we might see some Blood Queen action eventually. Okay. Yeah, Warlock is obviously in a bad spot right now, but they have a lot of good cards. Like, a lot of these cards are good, man. Like, the Death Knight is great. Defile is insane. Drain Soul is very good. There's a bit of Despicable Dreadlord. Like, Warlock has a lot of good cards. So, I think Warlock will be possibly back in the action after this expansion. Yeah, look forward to it. Alright. Catch you in the next one, guys.